What is something stupid you believed as a child? My parents told me the nearby dog food facility was a cloud factory. The exhaust coming out really did look like clouds, so I completely believed them. At one point I sent them a letter politely asking for it not to rain on my birthday that year. Did you get a response? Yes. They sent me this very official letter saying they'd try their best. They also sent me free dog food, which somehow didn't raise any red flags for me at the time. I love this so much. That's oddly wholesome. That's too stinking cute. That the KFC dude, Colonel Sanders, was our president. Man, was I a dumb frick. Make America crispy again. Let's make him president. I thought that when people have children their names change from their normal name to mom or dad. That is, in fact, exactly what happens. My father's first name is David, and I think when I was very young I might have thought that Daddy is a nickname for David, the same way Larry can be a nickname for Lawrence. I mean, that is fairly accurate. My daughter is named Izzy. Obviously she calls me mom, but her friends know me as Izzy's mom. My dumbass thought that Martin Luther King Jr. had an actual dream while he was sleeping and then woke up and wrote a speech about it. And then the hamster turned into Jackie Gleason and asked where his sweater was. That you could be born as anything but humans were the best. Every time I looked at a TV, I would think I'm lucky I wasn't born as a TV. I believed cartoons were made with a normal video camera and a special filter. That's a funny one. I found out Santa was fake and for some reason still thought the Tooth Fairy was real. I learned he was fake and I still believed in his elves. LOL, the cognitive dissonance was real. I thought dogs were boys and cats were girls, and when they had a baby it would be a cat or a dog if it was a girl or a boy. Cat dog was a hermaphrodite. I misheard tornado as potato. Thus, my early years were spent in worry about giant killer spuds falling from the sky every time it stormed outside. Overweight people just really needed to take a huge poop and were holding it all in for some reason. Sad to report no amount of pooping is helping me. Just need more laxative. That the police number 911 is from 9/11. Were you born after 9/11/01? I was 17 at the time and thought it was some sick joke by the terrorists. I remember hearing that it was intentionally done on that day as an extra slap in the face to Americans. Leonardo da Vinci was at the Last Supper. He sat there painting it while everyone ate. Every time my parents fought, they were getting a divorce. I hoped, but he always came back after a few days. X was one way to make a baby, but it was a bad way to do it. There was some other good way no one was talking about. I saw a commercial when I was little that had chocolate milk coming from chocolate cows. I thought it was real, because I had never seen any flavor cow. Seemed legit. I used to think that the actors who are killed in movies were actually real life criminals who had been sentenced to death, and so they would die by working on a movie set as a character who is supposed to die. Example. In any movie where the bad guy has loyal bodyguards who are killed by the good guy, the bodyguards were criminals and then died on the movie set. I used to believe this, because I never saw the same actor as a bodyguard, henchman in a different movie. At 5 years old, my grandma told me that the large round hay bales out in the fields turned into buffalo at midnight and ran around until sunrise. No drinking and driving meant you couldn't drink anything. I always panicked when my parents would be drinking a water or soda while driving around. I thought that the people had limited number of words to say, and if somebody uses all of them, then he just becomes mute. Well, the classic. When you swallow or ingest a seed, it will grow into a plant inside of you and branches will come out via your ear. Not me, but my brother. My mum told us that the alarms that always beeped blue was Santa watching us so we would be good. One time my mother walked into my brother doing the funky chicken in front of the alarm, and when she asked why, he responded that he wanted to show Santa his funky chicken. It makes me laugh every time I think of it. I believed that Santa and God were the same person. My parents had no idea I was praying to Santa for better gifts each night. I didn't understand that you control the turn signal in a car and thought the car already knew where we were going and was directing us, like a GPS. Adults always know what they're talking about. I cried my first day of school because there was no karate class. When my dad asked me if I wanted to go to a football match, I said no, because I didn't want everyone to watch me play on TV. My brother told me that my parents found me at the Great Value section at Walmart. I thought Mount Rushmore was a natural rock formation. I thought that was why it was so amazing. I thought cartoons were another world and the cartoon people watch us, instead of what would be cartoons for them. That growing up would be cool. Putting your computer into hibernate mode meant you wouldn't be able to use it for an entire calendar season. I thought tiny people lived inside the radio. Please let us out. That you had one tube in your throat for eating and one for breathing. One was on the left side and one was on the right. Trouble is I could never remember which one was where, so eating was always a life and death gamble. I would tilt my head and whole body to the side I was swallowing with, in my understanding. I thought I was the luckiest human ever when I guessed right each time. If people got cut in half, it was just black in our bodies. Because for some reason I thought our insides looked like the inside of Sesame Street characters' mouths. I thought all the US states were divided by rivers and that's how they got their shapes. We lived in northern Kentucky and when we went to Ohio, we crossed a river. When we went to Indiana, we crossed a river. Therefore, I thought the gangbangers were the good guys. They banged, beat up, the gangs. I believed it was impossible for it to become daytime unless everybody in the world went to sleep. Also when I was little, whenever I misbehaved my dad would fake call the little girls home to come and take me away. Worked every time. That studying hard and being a topper in school would mean I'm successful in life. My gran told us that bunnies and rabbits were different animals. We ate rabbits for dinner. I believed that the Omnitrix from Ben 10 was real when I was 8-year-old in 4th grade. One of the first heartbreaking moments in my life was when I realized that Ben 10 was just a show and the Omnitrix doesn't actually exist. I believed I wasn't sensitive. I believed it so much that I would scream and cry if my brother did call me sensitive. My elementary school principal had an electric chair in his office. That all the teachers lived and slept in the school. I believe that milk comes from dandelions. Because a dandelion in Polish is mleks. And mleks means something along the lines of milk flour. I was 3 okay. Parents died every time they came home 20 minutes late. They used a hairdryer to turn grapes into raisins. I thought that, because Tinkerbell wasn't real, that meant tinkering wasn't a real thing. On Halloween I thought it was trick or treat for far too long. I believed we lived inside Earth and not on it. Also my parents told me that the little electric cars had pedals like a bicycle on the driver's side and you had to pedal the car. I didn't find out they lied to me till I was 17. That all criminals are punished for their crimes. That if you started bleeding you will never stop again. I broke my knee in 1st grade. I was laying on the bench in the school playground, crying from the top of my lungs, "Mum, help, I'm gonna bleed out." 5-year-old me thought pre-war real life was in black and white. 19-year-old me thought I would be showered in money and job offers as soon as I graduated. That my parents had a happy marriage. To be honest, they did their best to hide their issues to me. That you got pregnant from French kissing. That hair color and food preferences went hand in hand. My mum loved strawberries and she had red hair, so I thought her hair color was the reason for her love of strawberries. I liked chocolate and thought that I did because of my hair. If you cross a solid yellow line on the road, in the car, the cops will be notified and the driver will be arrested. Every time my dad would turn left into our driveway I was terrified the cops would take him away. Luckily, after a particularly bad fit about it, my parents explained how it really worked and I understood and laughed about it. I was 5 or 6. I believed that the moon was the back of the sun. Also believed that if you were good to a cat it would grow up to be a dog. My sister believed that when planes were leaving vapor trails, that was how they cleaned the sky. That you had to put a full stop just before writing onto another line on lined paper. I'll kill myself if I eat yogurt with a metal spoon. Lasted up till high school. That my pets went to live on the farm instead of being dead. I think that's a common thing parents tell young children. Thanks for watching the Reddit Radio. If you liked this video, please subscribe and click the like button. Click the top video to see my latest upload, and the bottom video is a random selection pick to interest you.